Okay, you're live.
Okay.
You did great.
All right. Doc,
Okay.
she may be grumpy, but she knows what she's doing.
Okay, you did great. Awesome.
All
All right,
right.
talk to you later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
All right. And I may be
And I
grumpy.
get the notification that you're live, okay?
Okay. Send out the notification that I'm live.
No. It sent me the email because I'm subscribed. So it's now everybody can see y'all and hear y'all, okay?
Okay.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye. Yeah. One thing my daughter does know, she knows how to run stuff. And I'm at the period in life where she just does everything, and then I discover how little I know. But anyway, we would get. Okay. Well, no, she just needs to teach me because I'm still capable of learning, but my learning curve doesn't have as much motion to it as it used to have.
Okay. So you rode the short bus to school, huh?
Well, today I'd be on the short bus. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm not what I used to be, but I am what I am. But anyway, yeah. Now let's get back to serious business. So the government does fail other people like it fails us.
Yeah, it does. And one of the things that the government really has not, well, I won't say the government, some segments of the government really refuse to recognize climate change and the fact that climate change is really happening on the weather. We didn't have all these floods when I was growing up, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, the weather is changing, and we refuse to recognize it. And we refuse to recognize that we play a role in it. We want to kick all the signs to the curb.
Well, I don't know if we want to kick all the signs to the curb, but the people who are making money and destroying our atmosphere, destroying the earth as we know it, maybe they're planning to go and live on the moon or some planet in another solar system or something, since they spend so much money, exploring out of space. Or maybe they think they have the technology to survive here when we don't, when we won't be able to afford it.
And remember, it wasn't the majority of people didn't want to explore the rest of the world. In fact, they thought it was flat. So just a handful of people like Columbus who decided to take the risk.
Well,
no, you can't do it now. It costs too much money to go to space.
But the government is still spending a lot of money on space exploration.
Yeah.
And they're not doing it for anything. But anyway, let's get back to us and what the government can do, but doesn't seem to be willing to do anymore. And that is to help the average human being.
Well, I've always said, Mike, you have to realize that our government was not built to help the average human being. Our government was built to help the wealth. And it's what is capitalism about? It's about producing wealth, producing money for rich people. That's what our country has always been about. That's what it always will be about.
Okay, but it says with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
I guess there must be many different types of justice.
Look, why do you think so many people get swindled? Because they're con artists.
Oh,
And
so
to some extent, the founders of the country was con artists.
so they
What they said and what they did was two totally different things.
well, you are a lawyer and you have taught law.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything in law that is, I guess you could say, 100% solid?
No.
No.
No. I mean, I'd like to think that it was, but it isn't, Mike.
It's always open to interpretation or different strokes for different folk, I guess you could say.
That's why we have a Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court can change the way we look at everything just by its opinion.
Well,
So our rules are very fluid.
yeah, we're finding that out. What do you think? Can anything be done when people apparently decide that what was is just not going to be anymore? I guess you could say I'll use what do they call it? Birthright citizenship. If you were born in this country for, well, I don't even know how long have we been considered citizens?
13th Amendment.
Oh, when we were freed?
Right.
Up until then, we were property.
Yes, sir.
What about those of us who were free already? Were we citizens?
Yes, we could, if we were free already, we could be citizens.
But we didn't have the same protections.
We definitely didn't have the same protection.
Did we have any?
You had some if you had your papers with you and you could get to a court. But you had to carry your papers with you. Otherwise, you were presumed to be a slave.
And if somebody tore up your papers, you could become a slave again, huh?
You could.
Okay.
There's a famous case that took place right after the Civil War. Is the first case where a former slave actually received some remuneration. Well, I should say a former slave. A former free person. They took this woman, she was in Ohio, which is across the river from Kentucky. Ohio was the free state, Kentucky was the slave state. They took her into Kentucky, took her into slavery, sold her to a slave owner in Texas. After the Civil War, she made her way back to Ohio and actually filed a lawsuit against the guy who forced her into slavery and actually won.
What did she win?
I cannot remember the exact amount of money now. It wasn't, even at that time period, it wasn't a substantial amount given the years that she was actually forced into slavery. But the whole idea that an African-American woman can sue a white man and win was a novel victory.
Yeah, it might be a novel victory, but when you can end up in jail for putting a cigarette butt on the sidewalk, it would seem that if someone kidnapped somebody and sold them into slavery, they should spend some time in prison. Did that happen?
No. No, he was never prosecuted.
Well, I hope I don't make some people mad, but that's the one thing I guess that uh, being a Christian and believing in God, um, not necessarily in the white man who's painted on the top of the Sistine Chapel, but knowing, believing that all of this, could not happen by accident, mankind and all the different animals and stuff, and being raised, in a Christian environment. I just find it so difficult to comprehend that human beings could do the things that human beings do to one another. I just have a lot of trouble with that. And that is what surprised me about so much about all the people who have died thus far up in Central Texas. I guess is that Central Texas? Or but
Yes.
I just didn't think people could be so callous about their own people and let stuff like that happen. I thought they protected one another and that we were the only ones who were left unprotected.
I don't even think they believe that kind of a flooding could occur in the hill country. I think they were shocked that it happened, even though they've been given warnings. They were shocked that it happened. Remember, there are a lot of people who still don't heed the warnings when there's a hurricane evacuation. So it's not going to be as bad as they say it is.
But at least they get the warning.
Right. Right.
These people weren't given the warning. He's in town. Well, not in town. He's down there. Do you have any idea what he's doing there?
Doing great. You can't do anything other than just show faith. People are now like my mother used to be. But my mother was in the hospital. She wanted her doctor to come see her every day. And I would say, Mother dear, the doctor can care for you just by reading the reports from all the tests that they don't have to come see you every day. No, my doctor's got to come see me every day.
Did he? Her?
Yeah. If they didn't, they were no longer her doctor.
Black?
My mother's doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I never.
About the time I was in East Texas, and my grandmother went to a white doctor, I didn't know how to act.
But see, I never saw any white doctors until I'm sorry, not white doctors, black doctors until I got to Houston. I don't remember seeing any in Galveston.
And I told you, they had a finger pointing to the rear of the building.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't go sit in the black waiting room. I sat in the white waiting room.
And you almost didn't live to see another day.
That's what my grandmother told me. She told me she couldn't bring me to town anymore. Because the white people would kill me for that.
And that's the thing.
I was blessed that they did.
And that's the thing that bothers me so about religion as we know it, because most of us were taught the Christian religion anyway, as we know it, by white people. And I just can't imagine how someone who is preaching do unto others as you would have them, to do unto you, love your neighbor as yourself. People who are championing now getting rid of.
Mike, there are people who say the underpinning of Christianity is to be subservient to your master. They use religion as a way to keep them calm, because no matter how bad slavery was, it was going to be much better for them in the afterlife.
Really?
Right. So religion was used to calm the slaves. Because one of the things religion teaches is no matter how bad it is today, tomorrow it's going to be better. All you have to do is believe. So when Master would beat you with a whip, you could take it, because you know it was all temporary.
All right. Well, let's get off religion. Don't want to tick people off. But again,
It's your show, Mike. You don't worry about ticking people off.
well,
Say it's true.
well, I just, I believe in God. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I just have difficulty in believing that people who are so holy in their own minds, can be so unchristian. Hmm?
Yeah.
What?
But now you can't be soft now, Mike, just because you're going on a podcast.
I can't go soft now. No, I'm not going soft. It's just that it's just difficult for me to comprehend when it says love thy neighbor as thyself, and all those good things. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. There are just so many scriptures that talk about being, kind and loving to someone. And if you are doing unto others, are you saying that if you are holding someone a slave as a slave, or mistreating someone because of the color of their skin, or denying them because they don't look the same as you, that you would want that done to you? And does that make any sense? If it's do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So if you happen to be black or you happen to be brown, you wouldn't mind being singled out and questioned about your citizenship, basically be questioned about your humanity. Is that what you would want done to you or your offspring?
No, that's not what you want done to you. But what white people did was use the Constitution.
You drifted off, Doc.
Oh, I'm still in Mike.
Okay. You said use the Constitution.
Yeah. The Constitution is real flexible. One of the things that happened was when Trump started with all these tariffs and started importing all these people, and really when he started firing all these people and downsizing, one of the first things I did was I went back and read the Constitution to see what powers the president has. And it's so broad. The power that the president has is so broad that it's easy for the court to rule that Trump has the power to do what he's doing. I'm not surprised that some of these Supreme Court decisions.
Well, why is it?
The Constitution really
Is that
really does give the president a lot of latitude.
okay? Well, let me ask you something. Let's get personal here because there's a lot of work that needs to be done in Houston, Texas. And how is the Houston branch of the NAACP working to ensure that the NAACP remains relevant to today's generation of activists and community members?
How are we working to see?
Yeah.
It's real hard, Mike, now because the interests are so divergent. I mean, that's one of the reasons Trump was able to win the election. We can't get everybody on the same page. So there's some people out here, you ask yourself, given Trump's position on immigration, why would so many immigrants vote for him? It's just hard to figure out. I think for some unknown reason, people believe what Trump says and not what he does. They just believe what he says. I mean, he says this big tax bill, this very big tax bill, big beautiful tax bill. All right. Every expert in the world says the only person that's going to benefit from this tax bill is the top 5%. But everybody keeps supporting it.
You know why, don't you?
He can twist Congress people's arms and make them support and vote against the interests of their constituents. Now, when they vote in the interest of their constituents, Trump can come back and tell their constituents, don't re-elect them, and they won't re-elect them. Even though they did what was in their constituents' best interest.
Are people really that dumb?
Yes.
Okay. Next. Okay.
I always tell you that's when I never ran for political office. Because you have to be willing to lie to people. You have to be willing to tell people what they want to hear. And also what they want to hear is not the truth. They don't want to hear the truth.
You know, is there a way for the Black community? Don't forget, I've been in media here since 1972. And what is this, 2025? So we are getting close.
Remember, today, the only thing you can say the Black community has in common is color. That's all.
That's all.
That's all.
All right, because we just have so many problems. I was thinking the other day, in fact, I think about it a lot now. Back in the day when our media was so important to us, because that's the only way that we actually found anything out about what we were doing, unless it was something that was negative. But now, you know, in the last few years especially, I've seen our own people drift away from our own media. And without our people supporting it, you know, how do we survive? I see our people somehow, we used to couldn't go in stores. or they only let you in one person at a time, or you couldn't try on, people's, try on clothes and stuff. I don't know if you ever went through that, but up in East Texas, they would measure you and tell you, this is the size pants that you wore, or the shirt that you wore, but you could never try it on to see if it really fits you, because after a Negro touched something, nobody white wanted to buy it. But now, and for a while there, we had stores that catered to Black people. We had tailors who catered to us. Maybe there are still tailors out there. I probably can't afford them because, but back in those days, we had businesses. Why have we been priced out, or what's happened to Black businesses? The Urban League. I know Judson the third is he's Judson. They're over there running, and we used to have relationships with the Urban League, and we had a closer relationship with the NAACP. What is happening to the Black community?
Well, Mike, it's like I started back from the time we came to this country. All right, remember we had over 200 years, almost 400 years of slavery, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that slavery affected every Black person, even every Black free person, because there was always possibility you might get caught without your papers, or as you said earlier, they destroy your papers and then you're a slave. So every Black person on this continent had to worry about slavery. All right. Once we eliminated slavery, every Black person had to worry about segregation. All right. So for hundreds of years, every Black person, all right, had the same issue to deal with that was caused by race. Now it's different. Every Black person doesn't deal with the same racial issues that every other Black person deals with. All right, so we don't have the same interest. There are Black people who supported Trump. All right, there are Mexicans who supported Trump. So even though you can see it, everybody can't see the issue. All right, we are not even be talking. DEI shouldn't be what it is today. People shouldn't be afraid to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. I mean, that was just crazy.
Well, the president came out and basically banned it.
Yeah, but the president shouldn't be able to use the presidential office to force people to give up their constitutional rights. All right? It shouldn't happen.
Well, but somehow he's managed to get away with it because the Supreme Court says, I guess it's kind of joined with him in saying that diversity, equity, and inclusion are bad words. I don't know if that make them illegal. Now, Derrick Johnson's vision of the NAACP. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I mean, Derrick's got a good vision, but it's kind of hard. A general can't win a war. You got to have troops behind him. Derrick doesn't have the troops behind him. Not like Martin Luther King did. Not like Stokely Carmichael did. Because interests are so divergent now that you can't get a large enough group of people together to accomplish anything.
Now, what does civil rights leadership here in Houston look like? because, I'm not taking shots at anybody, but I see more competition. It appears to be competition than I see unity.
And you get that competition because everybody has different issues. So the first thing you got to do is try to get people to come together. And that's the hardest thing in the world to do, to get people who have different interests to support the same cause and come at the same cause with one large plan.
Has there been an effort?
They're making an effort every day.
Well, who's making the effort? Who's leading that effort?
Well, right now, James Dixon here.
Now, we were communicating with y'all doing the NAACP program, and where people came in, was it once a month? And then when Dixon came in, all of a sudden, y'all just ended the show. That don't seem like maybe he was communicating through the wrong channel.
I don't know, Mike.
Well, I know that's a loaded question. He's the president and all that, but that didn't impress me at all.
I can understand that.
Because you all had a voice, you had a sponsor. It gave the radio station some economic boost, and he just decided that y'all didn't have time to do that. And because it also gave the community, anybody who wanted to listen, an opportunity to listen in and to call in and to ask questions. And that didn't make sense to me.
I think he believes he could create his own voice, his own platform.
Really? Where is it?
Yeah, I do.
Where is it? I know I shouldn't be asking you questions like
Now,
that.
remember, he had a television show.
He did?
Yeah.
Where?
It was on the same. You remember when you had your show? It was on that same platform.
Which show? I've had several.
On the TV show.
39?
No, it wasn't on 39.
It was on public access?
Right.
Oh. So.
He produced it from his church.
Oh, from his church.
Right.
All right. Well, I didn't know about.
But it was on that platform.
On their platform.
Right.
Oh, okay. So y'all don't vote on stuff. So Dr. Dixon is like President Trump. Whatever he says goes. Okay, be nice, Michael. Be nice. But no, but he didn't understand the economic importance to the radio station or to radio stations that are in business, that you're actually taking.
I said I can't explain it to you, Mike. I'm just telling you what I view happened. Why it happened, I can't tell you. He'd have to tell you that.
Yeah, because y'all like only did one or two shows with him at the helm, and we've been doing that for years. Did it for years, but that may be a little bit too personal. What are the biggest challenges facing Houston's Black community right now, and what is the NAACP doing to address those issues?
I think the biggest issue is education, because education is the foundation of wealth for people who don't grow up with wealth. Education is the foundation of wealth, and so Black people won't be able to produce wealth if they're not educated. And we've seen the destruction of HISD.
The destruction of HISD?
Destruction, right. HISD has been destroyed. Enrollment is dropping. All right, and that's where the majority of our kids are. if HIV is selling, then the majority of our black kids are selling.
Well, I thought they said they were doing better now.
Then why are people leaving in droves? Do you really believe if HIV was doing better, all these people would be abandoning the district and going someplace else?
Well, I'm not in HISD, so I actually don't know what's going on there.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was an article in the paper this morning talking about the fact that HIV is leading in enrollment.
Hmm. Well, what's his name? Didn't he get like a $500,000 raise?
Yeah, he got a raise. The people in Austin like what he's doing.
So,
But obviously the constituency in Houston don't.
yeah. So I guess we are headed toward an oligarchy or something, huh?
Well, if you look at Texas and you look at Washington, I would say we're headed in that direction. This is the first time we've had leadership that's really been able to bully everybody else.
Well, they put them.
You had people like LBJ who twisted people's arms and used, appropriations and stuff like that. But nobody went after people the way the present administration goes after people who don't support that viewpoint.
So we are in a semi-dictatorship nowadays, huh?
Yes, I would say so.
Can anything be done to stop it, in your opinion?
Yeah. The public can vote in people who don't want a king.
But do you think who wants that? White people?
Well, I'd like to say white people, but believe me, Trump had a lot of minority votes.
Okay, but why would they want somebody like him?
Like, I don't ever ask crazy people why they do things.
Oh, that's cute. That is cute. Hey, the number here is 832-564-9609, 832-564-9609. No, I don't have Alessandra here producing for me today, but I will, take calls. My phone is sitting up here. I should have given out the number a while back. But again, this is not the program. We are working our way through it. Today is just part of that, prep for when I actually know how to run everything and be able to do everything without her being here, and to ask questions, deep, meaningful questions without Gary Stone.
Now, one of the things you haven't done is give out the website for your podcast.
And you know what? Let me see. Do I have this information here? Don't forget, Doc, Michael is now 73. We're doing more doctor's appointments than one could ever imagine. And, and I hate to say this, but I am operating, I can feel the downturn, I guess you could say. I can feel myself getting older, and maybe I'm getting Joe Biden-itis. What? See, I can't even say it. Joe Biden-itis. How about that? Yeah, I'll help you with it in a minute, babe. Or Donald Trump-itis, because he stumbles and bumbles his way through too. It's just a lot going on in the world, and we will work all of this out. I'd never done a podcast before, And when Gary and I first talked about doing it, we were talking about going in studio. But of course, my wife is disabled. His wife is disabled. And don't forget, we've both had cancer problems, and I have a kidney problem. He has a heart problem. And so working from home is actually something that, we, it's better for us that he can be out in Katy and I can be over here in North Shore, and we do our things and are still able to, be there for our wives without going in studio. And going in studio happens to cost a lot of money. With this, when you buy your own stuff and learn how to operate it, it's a lot less expensive. Then, of course, eventually we will be looking for, sponsors, etc., people to publicize and hopefully utilize people like you in order to help us get other people who people want to talk to, and just have some honest, flat out conversations rather than having to worry about the FCC and all of that. Or we can really talk about what's going on in our communities. And I've just seen so many businesses, Black people open up businesses and end up closing them down because they're priced out of the market, or just simply cannot compete. And we've got to do something to build our economic structure. Now, I happen to come from a family of I guess you could say, pretty progressive people. Many of them have, gone to college and become professionals, and so they are middle class or upper middle class people. But one thing that they all had in common is that they had parents who married and stayed married, parents who focused on providing their children with education, and they also had, I guess you could say, the advantage of being around people who told them about professions and how to choose them. And they're, upwardly mobile. Poor children, I really don't think that they get the help, the leadership, the inspiration, etc., that they actually need. And with the cost of education these days, if you're not careful, you can have a degree, but you'll have so much debt. God knows how long it'll take for you to become, to find yourself in a profitable situation. You can be weighed down by debt. And of course, with I guess you could say, the duality of the triality, of the quadruplity of the criminal justice system, you could find yourself falsely accused of crimes and stuff in this society in which we live. And you may be innocent, but by the time you pay all the lawyers and stuff that you'll have to pay, you may be ruined for life. These are complicated times.
Very complicated, Mike. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. And that's why I say the issues are complex, complicated, and people have different interests. Well, we don't have common interests.
Do you remember the Business and Professional Men's Club?
Right.
Is that still around?
No, it's not around. They've even torn the building down and used to meet in.
Yeah. So what's happening?
We got the Black Chamber of Commerce, but
and
they don't get involved in too many civil rights things.
Well,
everything's economic.
Okay, I don't. Who's running the Black Chamber of Commerce? Maybe we can get them on, because I'm not seeing too much commerce. Even the Turkey Leg Hut and other places have gone down. Don't hear about Trill Burger like I used to.
Well, now Circle Egg Hustlers is responsible for his own demise.
Yeah. But I still don't hear about it.
They closed down.
Yeah, I know. I mentioned Trillburger. You know, Von B,
Oh,
it's Trillburger still going. I'm just saying we are just not getting very much good news
yeah. No, it's still going.
about what's going on in the Black community. Tell us, give us some good news, Doc.
The good news is Trump only has another 3.5 years. You didn't think that was good news? Uh-huh. Hello, Mike? Mr. Harris? Mr. Harris? Hello?
Yeah, Doc, I know you didn't let me go dead. You heard my doorbell ring.
Oh, no, I didn't hear your doorbell ring.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay.
No.
Well, I thought you could hear everything. That was Anro Extermination. They were coming out to,
That's wrong, Mike.
huh?
I can hear everything.
Oh,
I
okay.
know everything.
Oh, okay. Well, that was Anro, Black Exterminating Company. They were coming out to spray the yard and stuff. And it's raining, so it was letting me know they were going to try to come back on Monday because I try to support Black business. I really do.
That's good.
Yeah. My wife's sister's daughter and her husband, they have a barbecue truck, and we, try to support them. And of course, then there's R&K Barbecue right down the street, Black owned. But when I look around and I look for Black owned businesses in this area, everything that they have opened up out here, as far as almost everything anyway, has closed up. Either we're not good business people or we don't support one another. Which one do
I
you
think it's a combination, Mike, and
combinate?
say now, because we don't have real Black communities, we can't. It's hard to have a Black business and make a goal. Because we don't have Black communities, we just have to have a business that caters to everybody.
Okay, well, their businesses are in our communities and they are able to cater to everybody. What are they doing different than what we are, I wonder?
Because a lot of them are more racist than we are.
What does that mean?
That would mean you will go to Perry's Steakhouse. They won't go to this or this. Not in the droves that we go to Perry's Steakhouse. So they are more acceptable to using we're more susceptible to patronizing them than they are to patronizing us.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Are we more favorable of the patronizing one another, or do you think we're providing each other with what we really want?
Yeah, we are. All Black businesses are not poor business.
Well, are we making any efforts to support Black business these days?
Some people are. We're not making, see, Mike, when we had 5th Ward, 3rd Ward, 4th Ward, everybody in the neighborhood knew the black businesses because that's where the black businesses were, and that's where we did most of our business. We didn't go downtown a lot. All right, so we had communities. It was easier to support black businesses when we had black communities. Now that we all spread out, we support businesses that are closest to where we are. So we don't go across town just to support a black business if there's a white business that's close to us.
Well, do we have any business development efforts? Remember like the United Negro College Fund? Does it even still exist? Haven't heard anything about it, and God knows when.
Oh yeah, they still exist. They still have a big fundraiser. They still raise a lot of money. You got to understand, Mike. Back in the 60s, 70s, even the white media covered those kinds of events. They don't cover them anymore.
And why not? We have more blacks in media now than we've ever had.
Because we are, everybody's anti-DEI.
Anti-diversity, anti-equity, anti-inclusion. Really?
Yes, Trump told them it was bad.
Giving tax cuts to the richest people in the world is good.
Okay, Mike, look at it like this. All right. This country was built on white control, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And we're supposed to be a democracy, which means majority rule. Correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now if you built on democracy, majority rule, and people keep telling you, all right, for centuries you've been in the majority, but slowly you are going to move to the minority. You're going to do everything that you can to prevent that from happening, Mike. You don't think white people are getting scared knowing that minorities are going to be more popular than they are?
But we're not nearly as, I don't want to.
Mike, you ever hear George tell a story about when he had this lion pup?
Yeah.
And how he controlled it. But once he started growing, he realized he had to get rid of him after bit it.
Yeah.
Well, they can see us growing.
But we're not them.
But Mike, they know if we grow, we outnumber them, and we start using our power, they know we will take over, we will take control. Then they are afraid that we would do to them what they have done to us.
Well, they have all the money. They have all the control. They have a much larger population. What do we make up, like 10% of?
When the Lions Club was small, George had control.
Right.
But when he grew, he took control of George. That's what they're afraid of. We are going to grow and take control.
Well, that may well happen, but it'll take hundreds of years. Don't forget, right now we're in a position to where we don't, or our women don't even have control of their bodies.
That's because women, because remember, the majority of the voters are female.
Yeah.
White females would rather give up control of white men than they would to black people. So even though they lose control, they'd rather see white men in control than stand the possibility of blacks being in control.
Well, I don't see us as being that vengeful.
I don't either, Mike, but they don't know that. People who do bad things to other people think that if other people were in that situation, they would do bad things to them. That's the way they think. They think if I have the upper hand on you and I mess over you, if you ever get the upper hand on me, you're going to mess over me. That's the way bad people think.
Well, I believe in doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. Again, that's in that Bible. One thing that they left in.
It is, but remember, slavery and taking advantage of other people is in the Bible.
But they chose to take a whole bunch out of that Bible as well.
Right.
So anyway, I just, anyway, Doc, I know you got to get back to work. Oh, let me ask you a couple of other quick questions here. How do you think, what do you think about Houston civil rights leadership? And can you tell me about who the major players are now, in your humble opinion? And this is not politically motivated or anything like that. Just curious.
Mike, I wouldn't say that there are major players. There are a lot of people out there that are involved. But one of the problems, as I said before, because everything is so diverse and people are focused in so many different directions and have so many different divergent interests, I wouldn't say that there are any real leaders in the civil rights movement in Houston.
Do you think we need leadership?
I think we do.
And
but I think it's complex to do it. And I don't really know. I don't really know if there's one person out there that's willing to devote his or her life to that effort, like a Martin Luther King was.
Well, are there any initiatives that we're doing now that we need to know about that we can support?
It's like a minefield, Mike. There are explosions all over the field, and we are trying to cover all of them rather than concentrate on one. I mean, say for instance, the 18th Congressional District is coming up. But let me take that back. Congressman Green is calling a press conference to deal with an issue. You know, Trump is trying to push Abbott to call a special election to redistrict and cut more Democrats out of the state legislature. If that happens, matters are just going to get worse. So there needs to be, hopefully he can put together a groundswell to prevent that from happening. I don't know if he can. But that's a big issue because right now voting is probably the biggest issue on the table. Because even though I say the most important issue is education, how we're district and how we vote and how the government is put together will control what happens to public education.
I thought gerrymandering was out now.
I think the founders of the country when we did the reapportion that was supposed to take place after the census every 10 years, I think it was clear that the intent was that you would reapportion once every 10 years, not whenever the state decides to do so. And not that you can reapportion in the middle of a decade.
I understand, but when you have corrupt people in positions of power, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Have there been any recent initiatives that have gone on concerning the Black community or the brown community that are the poor communities that we, need to be aware of? And one of the things that's the strangest to me is that the state has been giving, people, I guess, help in providing housing for the elderly, but the people, the elevators don't work and all this sort of stuff, and there's nothing that's being done about it. We're just in a crazy time.
Yeah, Mike, we're in a real crazy time. Well, wealth is more important than anything else in this nation.
Yeah, people are not getting their garbage picked up. They're getting crazy water bills. I guess, is Houston going to hell in a handbasket?
It's bad, Mike. It's bad. Poor people don't have, even though they have a collective voice, that collective voice is not as large as it used to be.
And I know you're a lawyer, but where are the lawyers? Back in the day, we had lawyers who ran around defending folk and making legal challenges. Is that a thing of the past now?
Just about, Mike. I think most lawyers now are only interested in their own well-being. And, people don't go to law school anymore talking about, I want to save. Save the world.
They want to make moolah.
Right.
Yeah. You think there's
I told people when I was in law school, everybody wanted to save the world. And then starting in the 80s, even though a lot of people said it, they didn't believe it. Now people don't even say it anymore.
They don't even say it anymore? Well, no. What are they saying now? Just want to make money?
Talking about, I want to be a lawyer because I want to change things.
Well, yeah, but we really need lawyers. We really need lawyers. I had somebody come by a few weeks ago, maybe a little over a month ago, and they were talking about installing solar panels and getting, kind of getting off the grid, and that they were.
There's so many scams in those solar panels, though.
Yeah, I know. But I ran into an honest person, and because my daughter was suspicious as well, and he finally sent me a note and told me that, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. I found out that they weren't quite telling the whole truth about what they were planning to do. So I did at least run into an honest person. But there are just so many scams and schemes and stuff out there. We really have to be careful. So we need lawyers. We need people that we can turn to in order to find out before we end up getting conned. People even going around selling folks houses that they
right.
I don't know how you sell somebody else's house, but I guess they have paying somebody off in some of those places downtown. I don't have the slightest idea how you can do that. And then we have to spend big money in order to try to protect the property that we have. But I guess that's what happens when you get a con man in charge of the country.
Right. I agree.
All right. Well, I know you got to get back to work, but I just
Sir,
and I'll be glad when my daughter comes back, because when she's here, things work much smoother. But we're gonna have to do some more, some other things in order to.
Mike, she got to make money, so we got to teach you how to run the show, so that you don't need her.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. And so we got to do some more of these, so that I can find out. I just do some test runs with her so I can find out what I need to do. And y'all pray for Gary's wife, Claudia. Pray for Yvonne. Pray for Mr. Dr. and Mrs. Douglas and his entire family. We do need to pray for one another. We've been doing more doctor's appointments than one can imagine. And we just,
That's what happens when you're blessed to get old, Mike.
Is it a blessing?
Yes. Because the only other option is death.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm ready to die, but I had no expectations of gasoline being $3.50 a gallon when I used to pay 16, 17 cents a gallon.
Mike, I've always realized I've been in the capitalist society, and people always try to make more money.
I never dreamed that I'd be paying $10 for a hamburger when I used to pay 25 cents. And they don't taste as good.
Yeah, but Mike, remember, when I was growing up, I said, boy, if I ever make $5,000 a year, I'm gonna be rich.
Well, if you were still a little boy, you would be. Yeah, I know things change, but the pay has not kept up with the prices, Doc.
That was mine. I understand, but I'm just saying everything is going up. All right. I remember when I got out of college, HIC offered me $4,500 a year to teach. I went to work for an engineering company at NASA, and I was making $487. Everybody thought I was rich.
8,700.
$8,700 a year. People thought I was rich.
Well, just depends on how long ago that was, Doc.
I'm just telling you, Mike. Everything has gone up. You were saying hamburgers have gone up, but your salary has gone up also. Maybe not at the same rate, but it's gone up.
Yes, I know. Everything costs more than what I'm making. And don't forget, right now, I guess you could say I'm retired, semi-retired anyway. I had to start tapping into those things that I thought I wouldn't have to tap into until I was, 75, between 75 and 80, if I got that far, having to tap already. But everything's good. That's one reason we're doing the podcast, trying to, build something. Hey, if women can be making millions showing their breast and their butt, maybe we can make millions talking about saving their breast and their butts. Oh, God. Anything else from you, Doc? Because it's 38 minutes, 28 minutes past.
Until next time.
And I'm still waiting for the car, man. Now, you're supposed to be tired of that car by now.
It still runs well, Mike.
But Doc, you don't need it. I need it more than you do.
Yeah, you can't even leave home. All right.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Okay. The number here, y'all write it down. One of these days, you all start calling. Heck, I don't even know if I have everything hooked up the way that it should be.
Then, Mike, you got to start giving them the information so that they can tell people how to get on the podcast.
Okay, well,
You got to push that.
yeah, I know.
Because now you're not just the host, all right? You're also the marketer.
All right. Really, right now, I am dealing with some of the strangest stuff. I actually, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, something got on the back of my neck, and I don't know what it was, but it seemed like I was being bitten by things. And to this day, I have an appointment next week. They finally to go see a dermatologist. You know, Houston has so many people in it now. You have to wait for days in order to go and see doctors. But then it came up on my arm, on my arms. And so I have been, somebody said they have the same thing.
Right.
But it is just odd. And so it's been about a week, over a week since I've actually been comfortable.
Okay.
So that's the main thing that is an obstacle for me right now, focusing on anything when, and it seems like they left, what do you call it, in you, almost like stingers. I don't know what the heck it is, but I'll be going to the doctor. I finally got an appointment for next week. And so I'm grateful for that. But when you're hurting and itching and stuff all the time, you really aren't comfortable, and it does affect your ability to concentrate. It does. And now
Have a good day.
yeah, if that's a symptom of getting old, I think I'd rather die. Because who want to live itching all the time?
I'm not there, Mike.
Well,
I still want to live.
well, I tell you what, I wish I could pass this on to you and see if you'd want to.
All right.
Okay, Doc. All right. God bless you and God keep you.
All right.
All right. And all of you out there in, who chose to tune in, thank you very much. But don't forget, you can call. We do have a phone hooked up here. The number is 832-564-9609, 832-564-9609. Yeah, we're still in, the learning and trying phase, but we decided to go on. And we have to test this stuff out and make sure that, it's working. And I also have to learn how to use it. And then we'll get in full gear. But anyway, God bless and keep you, and do have a good day.
Do the same, Mike.